getting noticed by like Whole Foods or some of the larger coffee shops. Like in San Francisco, there's a coffee shop called Phil's Coffee, and he has like 7 spots. So when they notice you and they recognize it and they endorse the product, that's certainly you know, a stepping stone and a way to get to the next level, and definitely gives me energy to keep going and things like that. So,
Jennifer?
I would say that the #1 really valuable piece of advice that I got early on was to identify those folks that where I wanted to be, that were where I wanted to be in 10 years, and talk to them and be friends with them, and ask them to be a mentor, and very sort of brazenly do so, because it's very flattering to be asked to be a mentor. And what was interesting actually is I heard everyone talk about what keeps you going. Having mentors is a key thing. People who've been there before, so you can ask questions to, who you trust, who you've been developing that relationship with over a while. But also I find, there was a question, remember, from a long time ago, you know, who inspires the inspired? And it's other inspired people, so I'm always looking and, you know, getting really excited to find other folks who are so inspired by what they do, because they've been through the ups and downs. When parents or wonderful friends who care about you and are wondering how you're going to, you know, make ends meet, are saying, what are you doing? Going to those folks who are also inspired, who've gone through the ups and downs, would be amazingly helpful and supportive.
Awesome, very insightful. Now, before I move on to our final question, which will be for all the panelists, there's a couple of very specific questions for Brandon, if I may, please. A lot of people are discovering that they have celiac, if I'm pronouncing it correct, celiac disease, including the person who asked the question. Are you planning to make any gluten-free cupcakes? And another one, let me just ask this. What do you think of the food truck business, and have you considered it?
Yes, both of them very hugely. First of all, we do a gluten-free cupcake. Because the cupcakes are $1 a piece, and I like to try and keep that price point, doing the gluten-free every day is not really economically convenient for us, because the gluten-free substitutes, the substitute for wheat, which is some, you know, tapioca or rice flour, or just there's lots of different substitutes, and sometimes they actually put them all into one, that's a one-for-one flour substitute. So in making gluten-free cupcakes, the ingredients aren't as inexpensive, so we can't really do it every day and charge $1 for the cupcakes. That being said, we do gluten-free Aztec chocolate. It's a 2 dozen minimum, so you have to order 2 dozen, which may not work for just the single person wanting a couple cupcakes. But as the price of the flour substitute goes down, we will be weaving in the gluten-free to our daily $1 cupcakes just in the counter. We do, however, have a vegan cupcake that we do bake every day. The vegan cupcake was less expensive and less engineering in terms of the ingredients. It just so happened that our banana maple glaze, which is a banana cake base, the moisture of the banana was enough to where we didn't have to add egg or oil or any butter at all. So the cake itself, just out of the gate, happened to be vegan. So instead of doing a frosting and killing that option for me, we did, you know, like a drizzle of a glaze of maple syrup and powdered sugar. So every day we have
right now. I'm like salivating.
Should we show him the 0-minute sign to stop right now?
It's very big actually in San Francisco. A lot of people are, you know, they're gluten-free, they're vegan. And it comes up a lot. So they're looking around for it, and it's very popular. It's not a small niche. So we do a vegan every day, a gluten-free order, you know, special order only, soon to be every day. And then the next question was...
Food truck.
Food truck, yes. Those are very popular. I think as the economy kind of started to take a little dip, a lot of the really expensive restaurants had displaced chefs and displaced sous chefs and people that were in the kitchen. So these people were awesome at making food and had some really good recipes. So they started the whole kind of like off-the-grid food cart, food truck thing. We're a huge part of that. We also have a little cart that we bring around a lot of these events, like off the grid, and little art galleries. We'll invite them to come be in front. Every anniversary we have at Mission Minis, we invite all the food trucks to come, and they're great. I mean, it's smaller than Mission Minis. We have like 15 employees, so you know, some of these companies, it's just the owner and like a friend, you know, so it makes more sense for them to do that every day. For us, you know, we'll go to the park when it's really busy or really sunny out, or other off-the-grid events. We'll bring our cart or you know, something like the cart. A truck actually is really great. In fact, we're looking for an investor to grow out of just our small, you know, bakery. The first thing we would do is buy a truck. A truck with the sinks and a little oven maybe and some refrigeration. We could go to like the Haight-Ashbury Fair, you know, Gay Pride, a really cool baseball game, or World Cup. We could drive it to all these places and basically have a mini shop, just like our bakery. So
that sounds exciting. We'll wait for your Twitter update.
Yes.
Mission Minis at Twitter. So going to our final question, and this before you guys step out of the room and savor their creations and the other treats that our fellow panelists, Mariam, Nabila, Fawzia, they have all brought treats for you, and not to mention Chef Brandon's gourmet cupcakes. So the final question, and I believe it represents the sentiments of all of us, the organizers, the students, the parents, and most people who came to this panel. When we were thinking about this panel, we had this stereotype called Mary. And Mary could be a stay-at-home mom, or she could be a professional who's aspiring to launch her own career by launching her inner talent and creativity. So if there's a Mary, our male counterpart in this room, and regardless of your specific careers, what advice would you give them to launch their inner talent and creativity to be successful based on your experiences? So starting with Manish.
Just do it.
Awesome, that'll keep us on time.
That's it. Life is short, just do it. You only get one chance, just do it. If it's in your heart, just do it. That's it.
Well, I think the other part of the question is also how do you find that? And I would highly encourage that if it's not for you guys, it's for the kids, they should do internship. They should be independent. They should look for every summers, every break they get, work with the parents, work in the office, go look for stuff, and don't stop them. Don't stop them from a job. If it's not a job you want them, let them volunteer. I have a 6-year-old. I have 2 daughters, but I took my 6-year-old to the school in a bus in Karachi in December. Everybody was telling me, are you crazy? There's shooting going on. But I want her to be exposed. I want her to start doing these things, not too much, but 2 weeks was enough. So start young, let them explore everything, and eventually by the time they go to college, hopefully they'll find what they're really looking for. So I think that's important.
I would say, whatever it is that Mary or Mike or is interested in, talk to everybody who's involved in that area. Because whatever brilliant idea you have, whatever passion you have, there are others that share it. And they've been thinking about it for a really long time. So if you can learn from them and find out what they've done and you inform your idea and your passion even more, you will come out of the gate running.
Yeah, I would agree with all of you guys. I think just do it. Talk to people that do it. You know, get experience. Take your kids around. Just don't close doors. You know, I never want to be working for someone else personally, and I know that means waking up at 6 a.m. and going to bed at midnight a lot. But somehow it's worth it, and there's a lot of opportunity, even during recessionary times, opening a mini cupcake bakery. You don't need them, but I made it work, and people buy them, and it works. So yeah, follow your passions. Definitely don't let a closed door or a little bit of a closed door stop you. Turn, take a turn, go down a different maze, get a different key for that door. You know, it's really, there's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of, you know, people interested in getting involved and helping support and finding mentors and kids and all this. I think that's just what it is.
Involvement.
So we are almost at the end of the panel. Our co-organizer, Mariam, is going to do the closing. And before that, Nabila and I as co-moderators would really like to thank our panelists and all of the audience for being here. And Mariam will do the official closing.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Nabila. Thank you for having us. It was fun.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you did a great job. And just listening to this panel, I think a few things, for me at least, came out. One of the main things being that I think human beings are very sensory creatures, and I think the way we had initially thought about it, I felt came out, you know. We touch, we see, we hear, we have sound, vision, knowledge, taste. And I think when you are so closely in touch with any sensory experience you have, I think, is very fulfilling. And I see that when I see you guys and the passion you have for your businesses. And I think that's where it's coming from.